Well, welcome. We are the Global Grandmothers Council Network, and we are here on the half moon. This is the half moon on December 11th in the Northern Hemisphere. It's December 12th already in New Zealand, but it's the 11th, and we're at the half moon, which is the halfway point between the new moon and the full moon. And our purpose in gathering at this time is to hold the balance between. So we want to hold between beginning and completion that happens every moon cycle and hold the harmony and balance for humanity at this crucial time in our um, evolutionary revolution. We are the way when I felt into what are we doing today with this, what's the energy of this call? It came to me that we are about conscious evolution. We have to be aware of what we're doing. We have to be consciously making choices for the future generations so we can evolve our societies. Yeah, our humanity is evolving, but we have to evolve our societies to be places where children can grow up and learn and grow, and the generations are working together. We've become so separated. So I'm really glad to have Grandmother Valerie here with us today with Learn with Grandma International, and just really active in helping weave the generations together. I know that you do that as your work. Oh, you're muted. You're on mute.
Want to destroy the recording. Um, we do have skills and knowledge. A lot of younger people think that, because we're talking about the things that happened when we were younger and so on, that we haven't caught up with the modern generations. And really, that's also true. I am not and never will be as good at technology as the young people, but I understand what it can do and how we would never have met without this communication.
Yes, that's so true. We would
Yes,
not have. And now
no,
we have the opportunity to work together and get to know each other and have several calls together and learn about each other and our lives and our living. It's a joy.
and share ideas across the two organizations. Learn with Grandma is, as you said, in nearly 50 countries, but you have spoken about something in New Zealand, and we don't have a Learn with Grandma in New Zealand. There's one for Australia, but not New Zealand. So we can amalgamate this and create a stronger grandma presence. It's not just grandma, by the way. We also include granddads too, but we we like granddads. Yes,
Yeah.
my
It
my
is
children.
important. It is important to have the masculine that comes in and supports the feminine
Yes,
there, because we've lived so long with the masculine that tries to control the feminine, but we get to have the masculine that really is supportive of us. Oh, hi, Kelley. Good to see you.
Hi, happy half moon.
Yes, happy half moon. Have you
nice to
met
meet you, Kelly.
grandmother
Where are you
Valerie?
from?
Hi, Valerie. I'm in Southern Oregon.
All right, okay. I live in deepest Wales.
Oh, beautiful.
It is. It's stunningly beautiful. I can sit out in the garden in the summertime until 10 o'clock, watching the sun go down, not over the mountains, but over the hills. The
Mm,
mountains are behind me.
nice.
But facing west is lovely.
We've been
Um,
living in mist for the last 2 days. It's been
Well,
really misty and foggy, and we've been in dragon's breath, as they
on the
say.
south end of that atmospheric river that's pummeling Washington State right now.
Wow. Yep. Definitely getting
Yeah.
the tail or something of it.
Yeah.
We've got a
Down
lot of
here,
dragons. We've got a lot of dragons in Wales.
they do.
Yes.
I've a few dragon sisters there.
Well, do introduce them to me because Learn with Grandma has a group for Wales and
Oh,
the UK.
nice.
So, and for America too. As I say, there are nearly 50 groups around the world. And what we're trying to do, Mayana and I, is bring the thing together so that we have some stability as we age. I'm 84, and as we age, we need you younger people to become not necessarily more involved, but involved in special ways. You don't have to do everything, but if one person does a thing well, that'll work.
Yeah, Kelley has been working with me pretty closely in the Global Grandmothers Council network and in um, the foundation at the foundation level. And
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, yeah,
I'm a grandmother too.
yeah.
Yeah. In
I'm
my
a great, I'm a
63.
great granny.
Yeah. I have six grandkids.
Yeah, I have 7 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren.
Wow, that's awesome. And you said you're how old are you? You're
84.
84. Wow,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Well, one of the things about getting older is you're carrying some baggage. You've learnt a few things along the way, but now what has opened up for us is not being taken up by enough elder people, but we have this wonderful skill. As I was just saying, we would never have met. I would never have met you without this technology.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, isn't it? The
And
internet.
we can share, we can chat, we can share skills, we can exchange knowledge. And I'm working on a book creation, ebook creation thing. And one of the members of Grandma's of GGCN is working on that with me. Um, I understand how it works. I don't know the right program.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
We want the easiest free program that we can find.
YouTube.
Well, for audio files
Yes,
and PDFs is what she's thinking.
Oh,
creating ebooks means you can have the text and the sound as well. You can have they can listen to the story as well as see the story.
yeah. I call them vlooks.
So we're
Maybe
looking into that technology.
I still think YouTube's great.
I've never heard of that.
YouTube's a great place to make videos, to share them. Although you have to record the video and upload it to YouTube, don't you? I don't think you can film on YouTube.
You can go live on YouTube.
You can. Okay. So if there, yeah, I think YouTube might be worth exploring but I also know that Zoom creates both a video and an audio file and they're separate. So Zoom has um, a free offering, but it's only like 45-minute calls for their free app.
And to get transcripts, you have to pay for a higher service to get it written.
Or you go to Otter. And Otter is an app that has worked for transcribing. And they have a membership program as well as a free option. But you can only do so much for free, and then they want you to pay a little bit. But Otter's not too expensive. I think it's, under $10 a month. And that you could even pay for it for a while you need it, and then, end it when you don't, and keep your expenses down that way.
Well, we're
That's
here
very interesting.
today with the half moon and the theme that came to me is conscious evolution. We are in such a moment of transformation and
Mm.
change.
Yeah.
That to be going through this consciously and holding the neutral zone, that, that not this and not that, not, to be neutral, because it's in that neutral space that the new can grow up.
Mhm.
Whereas if we're polarized one way or the other, we're going to prevent something new that needs the neutral. We need to just kind of be idling right now as a species and as a world. We need to go into neutral and just idle and let something grow that will take
Mm.
over. So in the astrology of today, I noticed it says that Sagittarius's arrow is pointed directly at the central sun. So
Mm.
that's Alcyon in the Pleiades.
Mm.
And another aspect says the king of the fairies is freed today,
Oh.
which means our elemental world coming
Hmm.
back to life. that
Yeah.
that that all the gnomes and elves and fairies, that have been suppressed for so long can renew.
Creative magic.
Yeah.
Well, so many stories do, of course, include that other world, as it were. But if you look back in history, the oldest Cinderella type story is written in stone in Egypt, in the hieroglyphs. And
Mhm.
it's the story of the slave with the rose red slippers who married a pharaoh. So that's a Cinderella story. Over the centuries, the stories can change. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter if they change because, again, we're talking technology. We could not do this in the way that we want to do it with the written text and the spoken word and the visual image.
Right.
This is the only way, really, is a podcast type of way where you can include the audio sound. I
Mhm.
would love to do it as a video so that comes just on YouTube as a video, but that's too long. Most of the stories, and also, of course, the other thing with a podcast type system is that you can have dual language. I met a young lady who's a teacher in the Welsh College down the road, and she's from Spain, and
Mhm.
she knows quite a few Spanish people. So Learn with Grandma Spain is more or less moribund at the moment because not enough people are using it. But if we can find a few teachers who see the value of what we're doing, then we can I've archived some groups,
Mm.
and but we can then restart it because if when we find enough people, the lady who started Learn with Grandma Spain has now gone. She's gone ahead of us. We may meet again in another realm, but we can't be sure of that.
We made it in, yeah.
Yeah. But the
Aw,
technology is ready for when we find the right person.
right. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds really awesome. Like you're building your library. It's wonderful. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really because the books that I've started writing were going to be a series of 10, starting from the Stone Age, going up to did the Roman Empire marry a Welsh princess,
Hmm.
which is possible. The legend is there. I can't give it to you all now, but the legend is there. Um, but I wrote the books in paper form. They were sent to printed in China. So imagine that the trees that were cut down, the time that it took to get here, the cost, and so on. And I created a cassette to go with it. No one's got cassettes anymore. With the next book, I did it with a DVD. And because the Welsh Books Council got behind it to begin with, they did sell, but they didn't sell well enough.
Well, if you have the DVD, that can be uploaded as an audio and video file.
Yes, but I don't know how to do it.
Ah.
You hire someone to do it for you. You find people who know the tech and have the ability to transfer the data. So you want to look for data transfer people, people who can take
Well,
DVD or
there's a
video
lady
or
called,
VHS.
is it Karen or someone from Canada?
Oh, Kalina.
Kalina, yes. I think she is very technically minded along those lines.
He's our
So that,
magazine editor.
Yeah.
yes.
But
Uh,
yeah, I would be looking for it through your communities and the people you're networking with already. Look for someone who knows how to do technical data transfer to move your stories from VHS or whatever tech they
Oh, a
work.
DVD is that you just have to have a DVD drive. And even those are getting slim in computers now.
There's so many
yeah.
computers that are
At the
newer.
moment, the storybook idea is dead. It's I'm just giving away books that I've got lurking about to people who want them, and that's history. I can't afford to go that paper route. But what we can do is take what is already done and what was already written out, if I can
Mhm.
still find it after all these years. But the technology moves on and you get a new laptop and so on. So it doesn't
Right.
always follow through that you can still find it. Um,
Yeah.
but the stories are not the thing. The stories are merely a tool to get the generations working together and doing things together and creating their own stories. An impoverished grandmother in Africa has a story,
Mhm. Yep.
you know. And we had a lady bishop a few years back, and she said, Valerie, every church, every community has a story.
Yep.
So when we've got the technology right, then we can say, you can tell your story. And
Yeah.
then that would all go on the library that I've set the thing up for, but it's not really being used at the moment.
Mm.
So, and that's another reason why I'm keen on the idea of working together
Mm.
with your group, because we're on the same track and
Mhm.
you have a whole group of people that you're working with. I have actually thousands of people are following little me. But if we
Mhm.
can bring the two together, then we're
Mhm.
stronger.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're beginning a podcast to have podcasts. We're looking at beginning to have podcasts. And
Yeah,
the
right.
interviews of Tending Our Roots is my first entry into this. And I know Kelley's planning her own podcast with her
Yep.
website.
Butterfly Women's Transformation Station. It's a place for women to share transformational stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of which
It's
could go on the
getting
library that I've started, so they can be there to
Mhm.
be taken down. But it's just as I say at the moment, moribund because uh, I'm just me and I'm getting old.
Right.
right.
And so
Yep.
that's another reason why, if Learn with Grandma is going to survive. But look at this. Who started the Red Cross?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
Who
like a
started
group of
the Red
nurses.
Cross?
Mm-hmm.
No? There's a man
You
in
know,
Switzerland. I don't know his name either. But the Red Cross, also now the Red Crescent, is active all over the world.
Right.
Rotary was started by a man, I happen to know his name. He was, I've forgotten his name for the minute, Paul Harris. His name was Paul Harris. And Rotary gave me a medal, and I'm a Paul Harris Fellow. But I didn't pay for it, as most of them do. I just spoke to a group and they gave me this medal, which I've not used very much, but it's very
Mhm.
nice to have it. But the point is, again, Paul Harris started that in the United States, I think in one of the northern areas, and that is now global,
Mm-hmm.
you see.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of groups and organizations have hung in there and grown. Yeah.
and that's what we can do too.
Yeah, Greenpeace, definitely a big organization worldwide. Many of
Yes.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We better not bring too many in at the same time, otherwise we'll get very confused.
No, we're
Make
focusing just
haste
on
slowly.
we're focusing just on grandmothers right now. And our
Yeah.
after we stabilize as grandmothers and have a stable financial base as well, then we can create groups where we bring the grandfathers in, bring the divine masculine in and work together. But for now, because grandmothers have to go first because they're the ones who've been shut up and shut down and hidden away the most. Our elder women have had the least value to our societies. And that's why we're starting with the grandmothers because they're the most value in our societies.
Hmm.
I posted something on Facebook this week about an artist who worked with forgotten his name, but he was the one that got the money, and she was not his assistant. They were muses. They worked together. But then he left her, and he is the one that's known and famous. I'll find if you look on my personal Facebook page, you'll find this article, and it's really soul destroying how this girl was locked up for 30 years in an asylum because her family thought she was a disgrace
Mm.
because she'd been sleeping with a man and she was an artist and she wasn't being respectable. So they shut her away for
The
30
things
years.
humans do to each other and the way
And
that women
family.
have been subjugated and abused is is what we're holding the neutral zone for it to change. That's why we're here today. This is, bringing it back. We are the half moon. We are holding that space of not this or that, but just being present together and listening. And I'd like to go into that listening space for a moment and go into our inner silence
Hmm.
and just into our feelings and our inner ear and listen for what messages might come out to share with the grandmothers who aren't here with us today. So I'd like to invite us just to take a few breaths together and enter the silence just for a few moments. So let's just take a deep breath in and hold it and release. And do that 3 or 4 times. And as we breathe in and out slowly, we're allowing our inner ears to open. And it's interesting when you listen to the inside of your being, not listening for something outside, but listening for something inside. Listen to your own heart. And listen to the roots of your heart. What's coming up from Mother Earth where you are? We're represented by whales, the Pacific in Southern Oregon, and the Atlantic in Virginia, Southern Virginia. And feel free to share whatever you hear. I just heard tie the knot and cut the string. To me, that's the umbilical cord of the new that's been birthed. And it also makes me think of the hymn that we used to sing. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love, whether we're Christian or not. The fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. I used to love that one. Although I don't usually use the word Christian anymore in my being.
Um,
Christian's okay. It's good. That's a beautiful song. We used to sing it in church growing up. I remember that song.
Yeah,
Yeah. I had a
I,
thought
I
during the
I'm
meditation.
wearing my cross, which I wear every day. That's a Roman coin in the middle of it.
Right.
But I've now become, I'm not an atheist. I believe in God. I don't believe in religion anymore.
right. That's why I
I
speak
think
what I did about Christian. It's just what they've done to it, not what it really is.
it's when one Methodist man, he said, but you're nearly there. You've nearly got it right. And I have got it right for me.
Yeah.
But his getting it right was not right for me. Uh,
Mhm.
So,
We
Kelley,
all
you were
have.
saying you heard you were hearing.
I wanted to share something. What came to me during that quiet was thinking about Valerie and elders and sharing. And I realized that we have these tiers of stages of elderhood, if you will, and young elders in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and then where you are right now in your 80s. And I believe there's a quickening related to time, not only what you've lived, but also time to get your story recorded and saved and passed on. And there's an urgency when you're at the level of elderhood where you are, where you really like time is of the essence. And so it's a really important time for you. So this recording will be on GGCN. So one of the things I want to say to everyone here is Valerie needs your help. And so for those of you who have time, who are elders who have time on your hands, there's a lot of retired elders on our group. And if you want to help Valerie with her technical issues or any part of recording stories, her time is valuable right now and needs our attention. And because she's a level 4 grandmother, I always think of them in numbers, in my native tradition with the Cherokee people and a lot of Turtle Island people begin their elderhood at 52. And we say that's when you've made all your mistakes up until then, and now you have to start teaching what you've learned. And you don't ever stop learning, of course, but you definitely get to a place where you can start to share more and more and more. And so I'm right behind you there, Valerie, and I'm feeling you. And I witness you as a grandmother who's at her heightened level of elderhood, ready to make certain that she passes on her knowledge and her wisdom. And that is a big part of what
And yeah,
Voices for Grandmothers should be about. And Sandra Lobb has been great at interviewing grandmothers like you and telling their stories. Maybe we should definitely get you together with Sandra to do a recorded story from you with her and to go into our GGCN collective with her recordings that she's made, because we're all doing it. Everybody has their own thing. And a lot of times, too, we can bring those things together in different ways, but I definitely feel like you need help. And so I felt like inspired to say, let's help Valerie and find ways to be of support to her. And her time is of the essence. So
And
let
maybe some of the grandmothers have children and grandchildren that they could bring in to help support this grand effort of gathering all of our stories. We
yes.
we want to preserve the stories. That's our whole reason for being. Yeah.
be a big piece of
It
it.
certainly is.
Choices.
We do have the skills, and now we have the technology in order that we can talk to people around the world. We can create the stories.
Mhm.
Each little village has got a story. We
Yeah.
have a legend here in my village of the lady who she lived in the lake. And then she came out. She was very beautiful, and she married a local boy. The farm is just up the road from me here, um, and she laughed at a funeral, cried at a wedding, and there's a third thing I've forgotten what it was, but he struck her each time because what she was doing was unsociable, and then she had to go back in the lake, taking back with her all the animals that her father, the king of the lake, had given her. It's not a very big lake, I have to tell you, and there seem to be an awful lot of animals coming out of this lake. Um, but the story is one that is only known in about a 60-mile radius. When I
Mhm.
went up to North Wales and I was talking in the National Library to teachers from all over Wales, they most of them had never heard of that story.
Right.
But there are so many stories about lakes, and
Mm.
often women are involved within the lakes.
Yeah.
The the lady who comes out of the lake with Arthur's sword.
Yeah.
Right. The Lady of the Lake. Yep.
Yeah, there's many Lady of the
Feminine,
Lake stories.
that feminine energy that is in water, that water is, that
Yes,
water is what can take any form.
we can live for a maximum of 3 days without water. We can live without food for much longer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, or so they say, but what's really interesting are people who have taken that further. And there are people who have. Um, and it's amazing what the body can do to survive. And our cells, our human bodies are capable of existing off of light. And there's such a capacity for us to learn how to use light as food. And I think that's an evolutionary marker as a human race, as we evolve, our bodies expand into greater capacities for really being able to hold light in a greater way.
We
So much opportunity
It's
there.
it's
we have an
important to
elder, we have an elder in my beloved's family. Her name is Ibi Duba, and she's from Hungary. She was an opera singer whose spirit called to take a different path. And when we were on a hardest journey in Hungary in 2017, we got to meet her. He had never met her before, and we got to meet her, and she did not eat or drink. She lived only on light for the last 15 years of her life. She didn't eat or drink. Once in a while, she'd have a sip of water, and that was it. And she lived and was strong into her 90s. And she just passed away, I think, last year or the year before.
Mm,
And she had lived on light, and that
yeah.
was her
You need,
My
practice.
my
you
grandmother,
need,
she raised three boys and a daughter, and outlived them all.
mm,
Um, And when I went to visit her in the when she moved out of the house that was too big and into a flat, and I went and I said, "Oh, Grandma, you've got some pictures there. Shall I get them hung for you?" And she said, "I don't know why I bothered to bring them. I won't be here long enough." And one day she would just lay on the sofa, put her arms on her chest, and died.
mhm.
That's rather beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Younger than I am now. I'm
Yeah.
still fighting. I will give up gracefully when the time is right. But I'm keeping going. I dance, I walk. I have to walk Pumpkin twice a day, of course. And Pumpkin is my little dog. She's beside me here. Um, and I go down the pub. I go dancing. I don't go to dance in groups of older people. I go to where young people are. I get their energy.
That's wonderful.
I go, I go dance with young people here too.
Yeah, I think dancing you use more muscles and it's better exercise
It is.
than
It is.
Yeah.
yeah. When it came on the television once, they went through all the different kinds of exercises, and dancing is the best.
Yeah, it is.
Whenever after birthing children, dancing was the only way to lose weight. I danced, and I know in my practice that it's moving energy through my body.
Yeah.
And it's not doing a dance that somebody tells me you have to step here, step there. It's letting my body move as it wants to, that
Yeah.
lets the energy flow through
Exactly.
and release
Exactly.
all that I'm ready to release.
I
Community.
do.
So,
I mean, I have no regular moves, but another thing I do is when there's adverts on the television, I
sorry.
always get up and move. And if
Yeah.
the advert's got music, I dance to that music. It may be only a minute or two, but that is action. When I was driving to go to my daughter's in Surrey, it takes about 6 hours.
Mm,
It takes me longer than that because I have a little dog and we
mm,
stop for a walk at least twice en route.
mhm.
We also go past a posh supermarket, which is rather expensive, but their stuff is so good. So I go to Waitrose on the way home and stock up with stuff I can't buy locally. And our little local co-op is also good, but they don't have the rarity things that, you can't, you need a big supermarket to go to.
Right.
And I do like my food, but I don't eat a lot. I eat enough, but not,
Mm,
I don't eat more than enough.
wow.
I
Well, my
weigh
friend
the
in Wales,
same.
Valerie, is named Valerie. I'll have to hook you up on Facebook with Valerie, Valerie.
Yes, do Google me. If you Google me, it's very interesting.
Ah,
Yeah, and I have a medal,
An
from the Queen.
MBE.
Yes, it's a member of the British
yeah,
Empire. Um,
published.
and when I received my medal, I went to Buckingham Palace. I could have had it given to me in Cardiff, but I'm never going to be invited to Buckingham Palace again. And so I went there.
Yeah.
And actually, it was Prince Charles who gave it to me because the Queen Elizabeth had to go to Scotland. And he then bought a house here in my village. So we got to know
Oh,
each other quite well.
wow.
But then, of course, his mother died, and he then is king of Great Britain as a whole. And he hasn't been back because now that property belongs to William.
Mm,
Oh,
It
that's
belongs to the
interesting.
Prince of Wales. And his son George. And of course, when the king got cancer and when Kate got cancer and the royal family had been cut to the bone, there were so few in the royal family actually working royals now. And poor Harry, well, he's made such a mistake, really. So sad.
mm,
Anyhow, the monarchy is strong. Uh, and we do like having a monarchy because at least we've got somebody else to blame.
Me, I'd be blaming Parliament myself,
We
but
do, we do. I've always been a liberal, but here I vote for Plaid Cymru because they are also a liberal party and they can win. So I'm hedging my bets
you
there.
vote for the winners. Good for you.
No, I don't vote, but I usually don't win because the ones I vote for are the extreme parties. I don't vote for them. I vote for the middle because that's where most of us live.
right.
Yeah,
Most of us are not
independent
filthy.
party.
Most of us are not filthy rich, and most of us are not desperately poor. We are in the middle.
Yeah,
It's
that's
sad
true.
the way so many young people are living on the streets now, and not just young people.
Yeah.
No, I know many elders with serious degrees and professional histories who are on the streets because they just can't afford what rents have become and food and all the expenses of living. It's really devastating to know that there is no reason for that to be. And yet it continues and has accelerated.
Yes.
So as we hold this halfway neutral zone,
Mhm.
may all who are in need receive a blessing
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I live in a little rented cottage in the Welsh Hills. I came for a weekend and slipped on some wet leaves, fell on a stone, broke my wrist, couldn't drive, and I've been here ever since. God meant me to stay here. And my landlady, they hardly ever put up the rent. Her daughter's now taken over, so it is becoming a bit more professional. But they look after me.
That's
I
good.
care for them.
That's
I-
nice.
I'm glad you're in a great place to live. That's good for you.
Yeah.
It is.
Landing
It's
in a place of care is everything. So
um,
good.
it's a worry as one ages if I can't drive.
Yep.
Um, because there's a roller coaster in between me and the nearest supermarket. And when I say roller coaster, I do mean roller coaster. It's a beautiful drive, but
Not a walk.
it's not a walk, no. Um, and
Around the corner.
yeah,
Hmm.
we don't have a shop in the village at all. We don't
Aw.
have a pub in the village anymore, which is sad.
Mm.
Mm.
We've lost a lot of pubs were not just places where you got drunk. Pubs were community centres.
Mhm.
Pubs are where you met your village, the people in the village, in the community.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my nickname of Princess.
Hmm.
I was, I s- in the at the end of the last century, this, uh, yeah, the end of the last century was still wasn't the done thing for ladies to go in pubs by themselves in
Hmm.
England. I don't know in Britain. I don't know about in America, but certainly here, it was you were a bit of a scarlet woman if you went into a pub by yourself. And I knew I had to become part of the community. And I stood outside the door and I couldn't open the door. And one man came out, a farmer. What are you doing here, girl? Get inside. And he bought me a drink and he introduced me to some people and we were having a good conversation and what have you. And one of the boys with their Welsh accent said, because they mostly speak Welsh around here, in the hills, not so much in the valleys. And he said, "You talk a bit posh for around here." And I said, "That's because I'm a princess." And in Llandaff with the electrician, I'm princess in his book. When I need something done, it's written down to princess. I go to somewhere else and I said, in Llandilo, and I said, my nickname in Maddfai is princess. And they said, not just in princess, in Maddfai, Val. Reading. And one farmer I know her very well. We're virtually neighbours. And another lady said, "Who is this lady from England?" And she said, "Well, I've forgotten her name, but we call her Princess."
Oh, that's
Even the
lovely.
young people.
That's the
I was
Pope.
coming out of the pub, and one of them said, "Good dancing, Princess." Energy.
Yeah.
We give we need a certain amount of food to give us the energy, and the energy gives us the joy.
Yeah,
Living is so beautiful. I don't want to go.
that's good.
We will all
Well,
go,
I
but
would like to just kind of wrap this up and say,
yes,
let's everybody spend some moments dancing. Let's dance in your own space or out with others. It doesn't matter. Let's just dance this new world into being.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Love that.
When with the humanity group, I just logged in to see what it was about, and they were dancing, so I got up and danced. And at the end of the program, Valerie, we need your email. And I'm now an ambassador for humanity. So anyway,
Oh,
let's
lovely.
dance. What shall I have no music on at the moment, but we can just dance.
We could dance.
We could
Definitely.
dance.
Let's go
Sure.
dance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And dancing.
I
That's
like
what we do. We end dancing. Woo!
Yeah.
Global grandmothers who can get
to the
squiggly
sky. Up and
and
down.
see
Oh,
the
I
sky.
touch my toes every day, 10 times.
Yeah. I was dancing before this call. This is great. Woo!
And it's great that we can hear our own music. We don't need music to dance. We can have our own rhythms and do it and even be in the same rhythm.
I'm trying to think of a
You move
dance
to the earth.
song.
Woo! Yeah.
When I was in the States, I saw Bon Jovi in Central Park. I was dancing then, and somebody, an American said, "You can dance, girl."
I have to say, since you said Bon Jovi, one day I was 8.5 months pregnant and I was walking across the street in Sun Valley, Idaho, where I live, this high mountain resort, and Bon Jovi was crossing the street the other direction in the same moment. And I was like, oh, he's beautiful. But I was pretty big.
He's not a bad-looking bloke now.
Yeah, he was
I,
pretty
I,
good too.
I, I, I managed to get very close to Bon Jovi, but I was behind the screen because I didn't have I didn't have a ticket, so I just went into the park and I was behind everything and I was dancing, so I could and I was as close as my wall over there, and but I couldn't see him.
Well, Valerie, you're fun to listen to. I love your stories and everywhere you've been and what you've done and what you've been doing. And I just hope somebody steps up who can help you with what you need for technology and getting your stuff recorded and preserved and passed on. I really hope that happens completely for you. And in every way, wish you every blessing for that to be successful. All right.
Together,
Yes.
united, we'll be stronger.
Yeah, well, that's the stick and bundle story, the oldest tribal story in the world. Together we're stronger. Yep.
And so it is.
I love it.